That's a motherfucking no-no. It's just another episode. Get your popcorn ready. We let the chopper explode. Hold the trigger finger steady. We gon' handle our business. Handle our business. Handle our business. Get the fuck up out your feelings. Handle our business. Handle our business. Handle our business. Get the fuck up out your feelings. Just another episode. Get your popcorn ready. We let the chopper explode. Hold the trigger finger steady. You give a fuck about a hater. That's a motherfucking no-no. It's just another episode. Get your popcorn ready. We let the chopper explode. Hold the trigger finger steady. We gon' handle our business. Handle our business. Handle our business. Get the fuck up out your feelings. Handle our business. Handle our business. Handle our business. Get the fuck up out your feelings. Just another episode. Get your popcorn ready. We let the chopper explode. Hold the trigger finger steady. Yo, listen up. Forget what you heard. Forget what you think you know. You just step into the realest, dopest, most official spot online. This ain't your grandmama's live stream. This ain't your cousin's podcast. This is Welcome to the Crib. I'm your host, the one and only T to the R. Triple Beam, and if you're not here, you're missing out. So before we dive in, do me a favor, hit the follow button, ring that notification bell, do what you gotta do. Find me on Instagram at TripleBeam01. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Welcome to the Crib. And you can also join the live hangouts on Twitch at Triple Beam Official. Now that is out the way, introduction is out the way, and the family's in the building, turn up the volume, get comfortable. Let's get the party started. Welcome to the crib. All right, man, I'm back with another video for you guys. And today what we're about to talk about is the Clip It and Book It player of the week for this week. Let's go ahead and knock that out so we can get into other topics that we're trying to break down as well. So, as you know, this is what I do every week. Week 5, the NFL season. We have our Clip It and Book It player of the week. This week, we have a bunch of nominees. We have 6 nominees for player of the week this week. I don't know if you guys have these guys as your top performers for the week for you. But for me, these guys, they went out there, they put it out there on the line. They let their haters know, they let their fans know, they let the world know that they are putting in that work. Now, here we go for first up. Let me get this on so we can get a little content for you guys. All right, so first up, Clip It and Book It player of the week, we have none other than the running back for the Indianapolis Colts, Mr. Jonathan Taylor. Make some noise for Jonathan Taylor. This guy was absolutely phenomenal running the ball for the Indianapolis Colts, which is something he's been doing pretty much all season. This is what this guy's been doing, man. He finished the game with 66 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on the day. 6.7 yards, 3.9 yards a carry for Jonathan Taylor. Let's just look at a clip right here of Jonathan Taylor. And so we could just get an idea of what this guy brings to the table, man. The guy, he's leading the league in carries. He's leading the league in rushing yards so far this season, 480 rushing yards. He's also first in touchdowns, in rushing touchdowns. And here's Jonathan Taylor right here for the Colts.
Here he goes, Jonathan Taylor, his third touchdown today. Steichen and this Colt team.
He gets the handoff. He sees the hole. He cuts it straight up the field, north and south, and he celebrates in the end zone for his third touchdown of the day. Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts, clip it and book it.
Coming up through there, just blasting Landon Roberts to the back of the end zone.
And that's nothing new, man. Like I said, this is what this guy's been bringing to the table. Pretty much ever since he's been in the league, he's been one of those guys who has been, somebody that you can rely on running the football. 94 carries so far this season, which is first. 480 yards so far this season, which is also first. And 6 touchdowns so far this season, which is also first in the league among all running backs. So there you go. Jonathan Taylor, 66 yards rushing on 17 attempts, 3 touchdowns. He also was able to add 3 catches for 20 yards as well. So he almost finished with 100 yards total on the day. Jonathan Taylor gets the consideration for our Clip It and Book It Player of the Week. The next player that we're going to look at, guys, is none other than Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. Clip It and Book It for this week's Player of the Week consideration. Once again, I think it's for like the second week in a row we had to bring up Dak Prescott and what he was able to do out there on the football field. He was just absolutely throwing the ball all over the place against the New York Jets. Now, mind you, it is against the Jets, and we got to understand, we talked about the Jets defense earlier on the live stream earlier where we covered all the games, and you can go back and you can go on YouTube and you can check that out as well, where I covered each and every game on Sunday, and we talked about the New York Giants defense or lack thereof. But we talked about their projections and how they were considered to be one of the top defenses in the league just only a couple of years ago when Aaron Rodgers joined that team, and everybody was talking about how Aaron Rodgers could probably possibly lead this team. This team, they was missing a piece at quarterback position, so they said, and they had all the defensive pieces, guys like Quentin Williams, you know what I'm saying, bringing the pressure up front, and in the back end, got guys like Sauce Gardner, who's been relatively quiet so far this season, but nonetheless, Dak Prescott was able to drop 4 touchdowns on the New York Jets defense. He also added 7 carries for 28 yards on the ground. Dak Prescott, 237 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day for the Dallas Cowboys. And we also got to look at Dak Prescott. When we break down Dak Prescott, he is one of the top quarterbacks in this league, the way that he's playing so far this year. And not only that, Dak Prescott, in my opinion, is playing the best quarterback play in the NFC for sure. When you think about as far as number one in the league, obviously you got Josh Allen in Buffalo, even though he played horrible in my opinion last night. You got Pat Mahomes from KC. They play tonight. I think he's going to have something to say about that. Of course, you have the injured Lamar Jackson. Once he comes back, he'll have something to say about, the MVP. Who's going to be the best player in the league this year? Who's going to be that MVP type quarterback going through the season? But as right now, man, Dak is right up there at the top of the list. He's second in passing yards so far this season, and he's tied for third with touchdown passes with 10 so far on the season. And there you have it for this week's Player of the Week consideration. Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys, 237 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Make some noise. Next on that list, guys, we have a running back on this list, Rico Dowdle for the Carolina Panthers. And we know it's not a whole lot to talk about in Carolina as of late, but they have been able to get 2 wins early in the season, something that we hadn't seen from them in the past. They're sitting right now at 2-3. They get the win over the lowly Dolphins. The Dolphins, without their star receiver, Tyreek Hill, who is out with a knee injury. And so Rico Dowdle help the Panthers get to 2-3 and remain unbeaten at home. Rico Dowdle, 23 carries, 206 yards on the ground. Rico Dowdle and the 1 touchdown. So he is going to get consideration for player of the week. And when we look at this, man, this Rico Dowdle guy, man, he wasn't a guy that people was talking about a lot. I'm sure some of their fans know what he was capable of. I talked about the lack of talent surrounding I talked about the lack of talent surrounding Bryce Young, thinking that, hey, they got to get some help for Bryce Young. But obviously this guy, Rico Dowdle, is capable. And he was able to help this team win. And when we look at this, I'm trying to find a play of Rico Dowdle just to see him run, man, because for you to be able to put up 206 yards in the NFL game today, that's a big feat in itself. 206 yards. He was absolutely on fire. We also have to give props to the offensive line, and this is what I talked about a lot too earlier in the live show, man, where where we broke down, where we recapped every game. And that's the fact of you have to be balanced in this league, man. You have to be any football league. You gotta be more balanced. You just can't come out and throw the ball all over the place and not run the ball and expect to win some of these games. You know what I'm saying? But listen, and while I'm just sitting here just talking, I'm trying to find a play or Rico Dowdle, because man, it's. Let's see if I can find one here. Let's just go to these highlights. I'm sure we'll see something. We'll just look at these highlights really quickly. But man, and like I said, the Carolina Panthers, they go to 2-3, remain undefeated at home. They squeak out the win the fourth quarter to beat Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins 27-24. And as you can see, these highlights right here, there's Tua with the nice fade ball to the corner of the end zone for the touchdown. The Dolphins went up 10-0 at that point. David Achane. And Dolphins at 1st and goal. Play action. Throws the back of the end zone. Who's at the tight end, 83. Yeah, go up 17-0. Everybody thinking it's over. Bryce Young. Nice ball, Bryce Young to leg it right there. You see what I'm saying? So we know guys like Bryce Young is capable. 20-17, they still didn't show the Rico Dowdle, and that's the thing. They showing all these highlights, all these passing. They're being unbalanced. That's not balanced. Show Rico Dowdle. That man had 200 and something yards. Highlight what this man was able to do. Highlight what he's able to do if you're ESPN. It make no sense. This man had 206 yards on the ground, almost unheard of in today's NFL. And he was able to do that against the Miami Dolphins. So Rico Dowdle, guys, clip it and book it. He is considered for our player of the week. 23 carries. He had over 9 yards per carry, 206 yards, and a touchdown for Rico Dowdle. Up next for consideration, we talked about the Texans and their defense, the number 1 defense in the NFL. They were able to absolutely demolish the Baltimore Ravens 44-10, and you got to look at C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud, man, he's gonna clip it and book it for the player of the week, and 244 yards to 4 touchdowns for C.J. Stroud as the Texans trounce over the Baltimore Ravens 44-10. And obviously, you know, CJ Stroud, we know what he could do. They got off to a slow start, you know what I'm saying? And and that slow start, they started out 0-3, and people was about to, looking to write Houston off, like, what's going on in Houston. And to be quite honest with you, initially I was one of those people that was like, dang, we expected Houston to come out and compete, for the AFC. And so let me expound on these. We just watch CJ Stroud right here with the play action. Just a little out route there to the receiver, and he's able to get his first touchdown of the day. CJ Stroud again out of the gun. He has plenty of time, fires one in the traffic, just throws a dart right there to his receiver. CJ Stroud again in the red zone. Drops back. Just a nice back shoulder throw right there to his wide receiver. CJ Stroud is beginning to come on for Texans. They hand the ball off, and that's what I talk about balance. You see what I'm saying? You're able to get the running game going. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be balanced, man. This is a game where you have to use balance. Nick Chubb, very, very formidable. You see number 15 right there handing the ball off to Derrick Henry, number 15. Fire up chips from Central Michigan, the quarterback who was traded to Baltimore over from Dallas, Cooper Rush. My son's alma mater. My son, he's a quarterback over there at Central Michigan as well. Hopefully he can follow in the footsteps of Cooper Rush. But listen, man, CJ Stroud is beginning to come on, so this is going to be quite interesting over there in that division because, see, what people don't understand, if CJ Stroud comes along, Houston is going to be dangerous because they have and like I said, people when they was talking about, they was writing them off when they went 0-3. I was one of those ones like, okay, because we expected them to compete for the AFC coming into the season. Okay. But they go 0-3, and people like, what the hell is going on? To start to write them off. But then I had to do a little dive into the statistics, you know what I'm saying, to see what the hell's really going on. But I noticed one thing, they lost 3 games, but they only lost those 3 games by small margins. And offense was not really clicking. But when you break this Houston team down, they have the number 1 defense in the NFL. And so with CJ Stroud playing like he played today, they will be a team to look out for in the next coming weeks, man. CJ Stroud, clip it and book it, player of the week, 244 yards, 4 touchdowns. Up next for consideration for our clip it and book it player of the week, and this guy's been playing lights out, man, since the beginning of the season. This is carried on from last year. He kind of had to come to Tampa Bay and kind of resurrect his career just a little bit, but that's Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, 379 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns for the Buccaneers quarterback right there. And obviously it was a showdown, you know what I'm saying? Because the Seahawks came into the game as 3-1. The Buccaneers came in the game, they were both 3-1. Okay. And Sam Darnold, the veteran over there at Seattle, he's been playing well since he left Minnesota. And also, the Seahawks is just, one of the teams that we're going to have to look at, in the NFC, as well as Tampa Bay. So this was a hell of a matchup, but the performance of Baker Mayfield just continues to rise to the occasion, man. But we'll look at some of these highlights as we see Sam Darnold to Jackson Smith. And Jackson Smith is one of the better receivers in the NFL right now. He's playing lights out. Baker Mayfield drops back, fires over the middle, okay, gets the separation, and it gets the touchdown. Emeka, the rookie. Sam Darnold, he fires right back, goes to his tight end, breaks the tackle, and he walks into the end zone for Seattle. The score is tied up. Sam Darnold, I think he's about to make a mistake here. He fires. No, he does. Touchdown for Sam Darnold. You see what I'm saying? This was a hell of a game. Those two probably see each other again down the line. Baker Mayfield stands down by 7, fires in the end zone. Wow, that was a hell of a throw to find this guy for the touchdown. Tied 35-35, Sam Darnold. And that's the mistake that I was talking about. I knew Sam had threw the pick, and that's going to hurt him. Of course, he's been having a pretty decent career. Baker Mayfield gets him in field goal range. The kick is up, and it is good. And Tampa Bay sneaks out of Seattle with the win, 38-35. And Baker Mayfield, with his performance, 379 yards passing in the air, 2 touchdowns, and the fact that he beat a hot Seattle Seahawks team and a hot Sam Darnold, that had me to give Baker Mayfield consideration for Clip It and Book It Player of the Week. And our final player that we're going to put on here for consideration, and he's been on here a couple times so far this season as well, and that's the Detroit Lions quarterback, Jared Goff. Jared Goff with the 3 touchdowns, 258 yards. Clip it and book it. And Jared, he kind of squeaked in the 3 touchdowns. It's hard to have multiple touchdown games in the NFL, even though it's the Cincinnati Bengals. I just thought I'd put him on there. He was 19 of 23, only 4 incompletions throughout the entirety of the game. And so we had to just give Jared Goff that consideration, of course. And Jared Goff, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC. But right now, I'm not going to tell you where I got these guys ranked, because I'm finna do a quarterback power ranking here shortly, right after I do the player of the week. But as you see, Jared Goff finds his Brock Wright for the touchdown right there. Goff again got motion, throws out the quick screen to the receiver. Receiver does the rest, breaks a bunch of tackles, and just bullies his way into the end zone. This is Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, that was absolutely phenomenal. Jared Goff inside the 10-yard line, hands off to Montgomery. Montgomery cuts it back, finds the daylight, takes it in for the score. The backup quarterback for the lowly Bengals, taking over for Joe Burrow, finds Jamar Chase all alone for the touchdown for Cincinnati. Jared Goff, a couple of fakes there, drops back deep, and he finds his receiver for the touchdown. And there you have it, guys. Jared Goff gets the consideration for player of the week with those 3 touchdowns and the win for the Detroit Lions, 37-24. His team remains at 4 and goes to 4-1, and the Bengals drop down to 2-3. And like I said, if you watch the live show, it's up on YouTube right now, so you know where I stand with the Bengals. I think that their season is done. That division that the Bengals call their division is no longer a Bengals division, because they're not going to be able to do anything. I actually think, because you have the Bengals, the Browns. Let's check that division out before I call out who actually won the player of the week. But that division where they are, I think Pittsburgh win that division by default. But let's just go ahead and cut this video short by going ahead and announcing who our player of the week was. But just to remind you guys, the 6 players that we had for consideration, Jonathan Taylor for the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor, he's number 1 in rushing touchdowns so far this year. Dak Prescott, his performance for the Cowboys, 4 touchdowns in the air. Rico Dowdle, 206 rushing yards and a touchdown. Carolina Panthers get their second win in a row. CJ Stroud beginning to heat up for Houston and beginning to help out his number 1 defense for the Houston Texans. 244 yards, 4 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield winning a tough NFC matchup against Seattle. Baker Mayfield, only 4 incompletions in the game, 387 yards through the air for Baker Mayfield, and Jared Goff for the Detroit Lions. And this is Welcome to the Crib, Clip It and Book It. Player of the week for this week is Rico Dowdle for the Carolina Panthers. 206 yards on the ground, and the touchdown for Rico Dowdle. 206 yards is nothing to sneeze at. It doesn't happen very often, and so we have to give props where it's due. Rico Dowdle is Week 5's NFL Welcome to the Crib, Clip It and Book It, Player of the Week. Make some noise for Rico Dowdle. Hey, I am Triple Beam. This is Welcome to the Crib. Make sure y'all like, make sure y'all subscribe, share the stream, and let me know who y'all think were your MVP for the week 5 NFL week 5. So let me know that. But until next time, this is Triple Beam. This is Welcome to the Crib, and
That's a motherfucking no-no. It's just another episode. Get your popcorn ready. We let the chopper explode.